like to look into. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It's our money that we control. How could we not give it to an organization? I don't know. Whether it's serving our seniors, Mr. Jeffrey here, or whatever that could do that for. We've done that before with road township road projects that we put $1 million into non-infrastructure. I think we can certainly give money to governments. I don't know if we can just slice checks back to people, though. Well, it goes, saying serving our seniors, that's the perfect organization that have an ability to have them create a grant fund.
I don't know. I'm just saying in the past, we have talked about doing rebate checks to people. We were told, no,
I don't think that's possible. The rebate check directly from the county, from us, the commissioners to people. I don't think that's it. But I do think to be able to work to serving our seniors, the ones who are very much involved in this issue, in my mind, would be a better way to investigate. And again, I understand we're up against a deadline here. Don't do it this week. It doesn't take effect for next year, calendar year. Hey, and I get it. But I still have a lot of the governmental heartburn from my perspective, even though we have the authority to do it. That we're going to tell everybody and assume that everybody just has to do with what we're going to say.
So I too, I'm in a lot of heart, and this is probably one of the hardest things we've done, other than the addiction services. But I talked to Sue, talked to Teresa Gabriel, everybody. It's a really difficult decision, but one thing I started asking people, and it's shocking to me how many people in this county over 65 they make under $40,000 a year. And people you wouldn't even think are that, because that's what's really giving me the heartburn. When Caleb tells us that it's $600, a lot of people, that's not a lot of money, but when you have to make that $600 payment, it's dollars per annum. And these folks are living literally on paycheck to paycheck to buy their medicines, their foods, and their, now we add that $300 in there. Doesn't sound like a lot, but to a lot of people, it's a lot of money. The other thing Caleb pointed out to me, the numbers that were projected to us on most of these programs, the Homestead and the program, but we're not really sure what that number is going to be, because we don't know exactly how many people are 65 and under $40,000. That's a big variable. It could be the numbers you presented are maximum. Worst case scenario could be half of that when it all shakes out. So, and Teresa or Senator Gabbard is 90% sure that something's going to change, but it's not going to change by October 31st. That's the problem. She says what they're going to do is going to affect next year. And what we're proposing to do, if we do this, is for 1 year, if I understand this correctly. So next year we could review this and reverse course if we wanted to. But I just think that, folks need the help today. They don't need the help next year, the year after. And I don't know what the conversation's going to be down in Columbus. I think they're serious this time. I think they're going to do something. The one thing I was really surprised at was the amount of money the state, obviously, as Murray pointed out, the local share of property taxes really didn't go up, keep track with inflation. Columbus made it right by 20.8%. So I think the state has been trying to help the schools do what they want to do, but and Steve, I agree with you. I said, boy, I sure wish they wouldn't have put this down on us, but they did it. And I think for that reason, I think it's so beautiful.
And the other part of my phone out of our is the fact that we're doing the state's bidding. Of course. I do know there's, when I checked Friday, there's less than 10 counties that have done it at and approve these in forward fashion. We can do one, we can do the other, we can do no. But it's not like the whole way to get county to like smoothly.
Well, we are the only county that gave back our share of up with
Exactly. 16 million. Well, that thing I'm fine with because that's, basically our pocketbook that we're talking about. And I get it. We could look at numbers and say, well, they're better off and they have a windfall and they had that before it was unvoted. I understand that. But into the state, you're talking about tax dollars. It's just like it was unvoted going in. How it's unvoted coming out. We're the ones that are making that decision. So for me, it's just a pain. Whereas if we created our own, not us, soon as somebody could create a program, then you could target everybody that needed it. Our liking to Erie County specifically.
I talked to her about that, and she didn't know a way that could happen. We looked at the water department. If we could rebate 65 years old, $140,000 to the water bills, like you'd have to get cities of us who could go along too. That's most of the customers. A lot of the customers are in the city limits. So we've looked at creative ways to do this. We looked at raising the sales tax, and
I know what there is. I just to be clear, yeah, I'm not.
But I mean, we've been trying.
I just find it very difficult that the county commission has access to this money, that we create grant funds for township roads, we create for non-township roads, for infrastructure. We can't figure out a way to put together a program that can be covered by county people, not necessarily us, but we can help the resource process and get the resources to whoever needs it to do that. And then we control everything about it. Does everybody in this program get grandfathered in? If not, maybe you look at things like, well, how big is your tax bill? If somebody's paying a $5,000 a year tax bill, maybe they don't qualify no matter what. But then you can give them $500, $600, $300.50 for a year, and then let the state fix a problem, because the system is what's broken. I think everybody agrees with that. The state's trying to do what they can do to fix it. But every night I talk with patient university system legal guidance that was saying that they could, that's what we can, but it's not too coffee, we can super dog or varies. Yeah. Well, the beauty of it is, if we can do it, it doesn't matter when we get it done by February. We go tax bills. But what if we can't? What are these people going to pay their taxes? Well, then we're going to have to put their taxes. It's a brand new fund that came up in the last 6 months. And again, this isn't about shaming people for not jumping on to get a special program that is just created in there for this. I just think it's too quick. I think we need to do it this quickly. If re-examining that spirit every year, if they give us that authority, it's absolutely. But I can't swallow it. I just try to. But things what it is. So if we could do something like that, I'd look at it. I don't think, but I certainly look at that. The only thing we can do that's just fair for everybody without us trying to figure out logistics of sending checks out is just reduce taxes. If the auditor will do that, it's simple. I pulled up the number of elected officials in this county at the state and local level. It's 108 school board members, township trustees, city council people, village council people. And I received objections to this from 3 of them. So 97% of the elected officials in this county have not voiced any objection to me. I don't know if they've voiced objection to you, but I know I've had 3 so far. We've had many public hearings talked about this at almost every meeting this month. By my count, 15 of the 24 political subdivisions have attended these meetings, and we appreciate that. And 3 elected officials have voiced objection. 4 if you count Steve Shaw. He's not in this.
108 because it's only the local elected officials of the county. So, I mean, I think this is an opportunity, as Pat said, and I don't need to repeat everything, to help people who are struggling in our community. It's not widespread. It's for people who live in their houses and senior citizens who make under $40,000 a year. And it's about as targeted as you can get to people who need it and are going to benefit from it. So I'll be voting yes on this.
All right, so do we have,
Steve introduced them.
Oh, you get up. I don't know if it's going to be a reason, but
You enter them. Just, I'm sorry, you want to-
what do I say?
Yeah.
I'll look for adoption resolution board of commissioners for the purpose of authorizing a local permissive homestead exemption to qualified home in Erie County and directing the county auditor to establish and administer the necessary procedures for application verification of eligibility and calculation of the local permissive homestead exemption in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 319.304. Second.
Mr. Shelfer,
No.
Mr. Old,
Yes.
Mr. Shinnigan,
Yes. And move for adoption resolution board of commissioners for the purpose of authorizing the local permissive owner occupancy credit for qualified homeowners in Erie County and direct the county auditor to establish and administer the necessary procedures for application, verification of eligibility, calculation of a local permissive owner occupancy credit in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 323.152. Second.
Mr. Shelfer,
No.
Mr. Old,
Yes.
Mr. Shinnigan,
So I'll move it, please. Public comment?